Desyncs in Genshin Impact are weird. To be fair, they're weird in any online game, but the ones here are something else. And it may not seem that way as you watch Nilou float across the screen, as carefree as a cloud adrift the sky, but I assure you, things are going to get much, much crazier. Because this game does not know how to handle a forced desync. I mean, really, what game does? Now, we've all seen the jittery animations of co-op. How sometimes other players will teleport around due to lag or limitations with how the game displays another player's movement. Unless you've never played co-op. In which case, now you know. In co-op, the game continuously updates the placement of other players based on data it gets from said players. Basic online game stuff. And if you want a very simple, very clear example of this, just hop into co-op and have someone stand on an elevator. Because elevators are, by default, desynced. For each player, the current height of the elevator will be different. This leads to, well, you see it on screen now. So in the example from earlier, as Nilou is ought to do, she's obviously floating gracefully across Cider Lake, and the game is continuously updating her position for her co-op teammate, our wonderful cameraman. Except, if we follow her, she'll eventually vanish. And we'll see that, nope, Nilou never moved and is still standing on the bridge. A revelation that only comes about after the desync is corrected from having moved far enough away from the player that they unload. Which is really confusing, because she was right there, but actually back here, and we were chasing her, yet by doing so, we were getting farther away from her. Aren't desyncs fun? Let us move now to her home of Sumeru, specifically the desert, where we're going to subject both Bennett and the Traveler to some exciting experiments, to see just how confused the game can get from these desyncs. To start, let's bury Bennett in the sand. Then, give him a little push, and... Holy heck, Bennett, my dude, where are you going? Let's bring him back down to earth, literally, because we're going to bury him again, and try once more. Okay, wait, he was just right here. Oh, he's already taken off. How fast is he moving? Because I don't see him anymore. Alright, I guess nothing but bad luck can stop Benny's adventure team, because giant rocks or mountains certainly can't. As before, once far enough from the character's original location, things are reset and Bennett is again rocketing into the sky. This is so fun. Let us add more variables to the equation. First up, water. What'll happen if our intrepid sand surfer encounters a pool of water? Well, as it turns out, nothing. It's not enough to stop them. Given they're a desynced Phantom player, it's not so surprising, right? I mean, why would they be able to interact with the water? It makes sense that they simply sink like a ton of bricks, as they're really just following the slopes in the land. Interestingly, this can happen too, if the player in question begins gliding during their desync. Just like before, the character is limited by the slopes of the land, and their actual location becomes skewed. All of this got me thinking. Presumably, things within the world cannot interact with this desynced Phantom player. In a past video, we talked about Phantom enemies and saw how they'll try to attack a player standing outside their load zone. It was a bizarre thing, where projectile attacks could appear from thin air and hurt the player, but melee attacks could not. Let us now test the reverse, and introduce to a group of enemies this desynced Traveler. Intriguing. the enemies become alert and attack as if the player were there. That means that, for other players, the game truly believes the desynced player is in that location. And yet, we can also see that's simply not the case. For when we follow them, they eventually vanish because we're too far away from their original location. What strange, conflicting logic. I wish I could turn on something like a collision viewer to see what layers of data are moving and which are staying put. They can trigger far away enemies too, like this group of eremites.
You're open!
And it's probably no surprise that, yup, bosses act in much the same way, like our pal the Ruined Serpent. It's trying its best. So anyways, desyncs, especially forced ones, are weird, and a whole lot of fun. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, a like and subscribe helps. And if you like weird game experiments or challenges, especially centered around Genshin Impact, then you'll probably like the other content on this channel. This is Musashi, signing off. Till next time.